Hey y'all, Rick from Ozark Living Homestead. I mentioned in the last video that I just did that I've been working on the bush hog. I got the tractor, back running good and everything, where I had the problems with the PTO shaft. But one of the things I had planned to do, and I knew I should have done it when I first bought it, but I didn't do it, was before spring really got here and everything started growing good, the weeds, that I needed to sharpen the blades on the bush hog. Now, I've never done that on a bush hog. I'm not used to bush hog. That noise you hear, and there's a cattle truck behind me. They're actually loading some cattle up back there. So if you guys hear that, that's what that is. But anyway, luckily I took this off, and from what I've been told, basically if a blade flies off of this thing, it'll basically drop. I don't take those kind of chances, but I had been getting a bad vibration. Not a real bad one, but bad enough that I could feel it in that bush hog. And what I found, these bolts here are what holds them on. And this is a bushing that actually goes on the bolt. And you can see that hole there. There's not a carriage bolt, but one second, there's what they call a castle bolt, and then there's a cotter pin that sticks in there, and that's a castle nut. I'm sorry, not bolt, nut. But one of them, and both of these bolts are stripped. The threads are pretty much stripped. This one was real bad. It had stripped off completely. There was no cotter pin in this thing. The nut had backed almost completely off. The one blade was just flopping around on there. And if you guys can see, I think you can see it, these threads are just almost completely stripped out here. It's kind of hard to see it, I'm sure, through the camera, but there's not much on there. That nut was barely hanging on there. So luckily I found that. Now I went and bought new bolts. I think I've got them in the toolbox there. But they didn't have, and I couldn't find them nowhere here. They didn't have the hole here. And I bought number 8 bolts, which are very, very hard steel bolts, and I had to drill these holes for these cotter pins, and boy, I broke like 5 bits drilling these holes. It was a real pain in the butt, but I finally got through them. That way, when I put these things back on, I can put the cotter pin back in there, and what it does, it actually goes, I don't have that down, but you screw this all the way down, and the cotter pin will go in the hole right in here. It'll stop that bolt from going one way or the other. So you don't have to worry about that bolt backing out on you. And you're losing whatever's supposed to hold. But each one of these has a bushing. And these bolts, I had a hard time getting these things off. Well, one of them was almost off. But I sharpened the blades. And everything I read and everything, because I go on a few tractor forums, and everything that I saw on YouTube, not a lot of people discuss it or talk about it. Okie Rob, I'll actually leave a link to his channel, has been doing a few videos on machinery, safety on machinery and stuff for him. He has seems like a pretty nice sized farm down there in Oklahoma, but he does a lot of maintenance videos and safety videos on this stuff. But anyway, I went ahead and sharpened these things, and a lot of you guys know, if you've done lawnmower blades, there's a hole in the middle, and what you do is you set it on a tool like this, and it balances it, and once it balances, you know you got it right, and you won't have the vibration. Well, you can't do that on these things, because there's only one hole. It's at the end. There's nowhere balancing this thing. So what you do, and this is what I understand from all I've seen on YouTube, well, not so much on YouTube, but just reading on other things, you weigh them, and I didn't have a scale. So I went to Walmart and I bought a little $10 cheap bathroom scale, because we don't even want a bathroom scale. Because I asked my wife where it was, and she says we don't have one, and I asked her why we didn't have one, because I know we used to. She said, well, men don't care how much they weigh, and women don't want to know. So anyway, I went and bought a little cheap scale, and what you're supposed to do is you grind these things down, you get them like you want them, you put one on the scale, and the one that weighs the lightest, you go back and you regrind more to bring the other one down to the same weight. For instance, these weigh 10 pounds apiece. One was a little more, it was 11 pounds. And I think, from what I can remember, it was within a couple of ounces, 4 or 5 ounces or so, that you're supposed to get these things, or you want to get these things. That way it balances them out, as long as you don't have any other problems with your bush hog. But I've got these things pretty much the exact weight, right around 10. It might be a couple of ounces, 3 ounces, because this thing, I'm sure, is not going to weigh exact, but it's going to be close, and it is very close. So, but I did it with a hand grinder. It just was easier than doing the bench grinding, which I don't have my shop done or anything, so I don't really have any tools set up. But there's the bush hog over there, and the tractor's still holding it up. It hasn't run off yet. It's still chained to the tree, so it can't run off. But I'm gonna go ahead and get that on today, and hopefully we won't have no problems. The reason I got that chain wrapped around there really is that's how I lowered it down, and I pulled it up on the edge and leaned it against the tree so I could work on it. And then like I said, I'll just back off and have somebody push it as I go, and slowly lower it down to the ground. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and sign off from here. I've got to get this stuff done. I got quite a few other things to do. The grandkids are celebrating their 5th birthday today, so they're supposed to be out here a little later when it warms up. But I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here. If you guys like the videos, I'm gonna try to get more and more out now. I pretty much got situated. I still have tons of work to do, but that's just the way it is. But anyway, go ahead and give us a big thumbs up, and go ahead and subscribe. All right, thank you guys.